यदि गौर न হইতো থাবে কি হইতো কে মনে ধরিতাম দে রাধার মহিমা প্রেম রসা সীমা জগতে জানতো কে मधुर वृंदा विपिन माधुरी प्रवेश चातुरी सार व्रज युवती भावेर भकति शकति होते कार गाओ गाओ पुना गौरांगेर गुना सरल होइया मान এ ভাব সাগরে মন দয়ার না দেখিয়ে জান গৌরাঙ্গ বলিয়া না গেনু গলিয়া কে মনে ধরিনু দে দেবাসুর হিয়া পাষাণ দিয়া কে মনে গাড়িয়াছে यदि গৌর না হইতো তবে কি হইতো কে মনে ধরিতাম দে If Lord Gaura had not appeared as the Yuga avatar in this age of Kali, then what would have become of us? How could we have tolerated living? Who in this universe would have ever learned about the topmost limits of loving mellows that comprise the glory of Sri Radha? Who would have had the power to render ecstatic devotional service that follows in the footsteps of the damsels of Vraja? Indeed, the clever expertise of the Vraja Gopis is a prerequisite for entering the supremely sweet forest of Vrinda Devi. Oh, please sing again and again of the glorious qualities of Lord Gauranga. Just try to keep your heart simple. Not even one person within this ocean of nescience has ever seen such a magnanimous personality as he. Even though I chant the holy name of Lord Gauranga, somehow I still have not melted in ecstasy. How then have I maintained the burden of this body? How has the Creator fashioned this body with a stone in place of Vasudev Ghosha's heart? Hare Krishna, Vasudev Ghosh ki jai. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sanya Mataji, for reciting that Vaishnav bhajan so sweetly, and even the translation as well. So now, moving forward to the next part of our call, we'll have Śyāmalā Mataji give a spiritual care series on chanting. So over to you, Mataji.
नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते इन्द्रदुम्य स्वामिनिति नामिने नमो नरसिंहपाल्याय प्रभुपादप्रियाय ते रसिकाय वचस्थाय गुरवे रसदायिने हृद्गूढसारथो याचे स्वभक्तो सम्प्रसारणे प्रेमाब्धिलहरी लोलं सारबिन्दुं लघुङ्गुरुम् नमो प्रभुपादप्रियदासाय जगन्नाथयात्रानन्दमूर्तये भक्तसुखाय कृष्णोत्कीर्तनेन नरसिंहेन रक्षिताय नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे भागवतम की जय, श्रीमद् भगवत गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद श्रील गुरुदेव की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल. Hare Krishna, welcome everybody for today's session of spiritual deep dive, spiritual care series deep dive. I first of all seek blessings from all of you. So I may be able to speak whatever I've heard from our Diksha Guru as well as Siksha Gurus on this topic. So that I can also hear again now and remember the concepts so that I can also implement nicely. So this is like, I am talking to myself and all of you are kind of getting a side benefit of this. So I'm feeling very grateful and fortunate to be in this association, to be able to render some service as per the instruction of our senior devotees. Okay, and also I seek blessings from all the Vaishnavas, especially the senior devotees. So, I may be very younger even in age as well as in realization. So please kindly forgive me and give me your blessings. So, we can all hear from Shastras mainly. So the topic for today is chanting, mainly focusing on japa. This is Srila Haridas Thakura. Why and how? Little bit from Shastras, we'll try to kind of, everybody knows this, and this is our daily practice, which at least we take a promise to chant 16 rounds. So this is kind of very crucial aspect of our devotional life. So we are starting this series with chanting, especially for a reason. So first we'll cover the topic why, then we will jump on to how a little bit. Okay. So in the topic of why, we'll talk about importance of chanting the holy name. So this was a discussion between Srila Sanatana Goswami and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sanatana Goswami, he travels from Mathura to Jagannath Puri to meet Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and on the way, he had to take bath in bad waters, and without having proper food, he developed a disease. So he decided when he's about to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that he will throw himself under the Jagannath cart and commit suicide. But even then, Mahaprabhu was so compassionate. He embraced him and he had wet sores on his body. So Sanatana Goswami Maharaj was very embarrassed. He didn't even want to meet Mahaprabhu. But Mahaprabhu tells him that, your body is not yours. It's mine. I want to use it for devotional service. So, please go and establish lost temples in Vrindavan. So that's the instruction he gives. So in that context, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu emphasizes some of the main concepts of devotional life. So these are verses from Chaitanya Charitamrita. I'll try to read my best. I'm not a Bengali person, but I'll try to read from English and some diacritic, some pronunciation. So please forgive me for offenses or mistakes. Bhajanera madhye shreshta navavidha bhakti Krishna prema Krishna dite dhare mahashakti. So what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said is that among all the processes of devotional service, there are unlimited processes of devotional service, and Rupa Goswami has compiled them as 64 limbs of devotional service in Nectar of, or rather, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Within them, he's saying, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Shreshta, the topmost, are the Navavidha Bhakti, which is like Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, which is elaborated by Prahlad Maharaj in the 7th canto. And he's saying Krishna Prema and Krishna Dite, it's able to give. Dhare means it has the Mahashakti, it has the potency, the Mahashakti, the great potency to give Krishna Prema as well as Krishna. Because once we have Krishna Prema, then Krishna gets automatically captured with the love of the devotee. So both of them can be given, obtained by practicing Navavidha Bhakti. Okay. So now next verse he says, Tara madhye sarvashreshta nama sankirtana niraparadhe nama lele paya premadhana. So among these 9 processes of devotional service, Tara madhye sarvashreshta, if we ought to take about what's the topmost among these 9, nama sankirtana is the topmost. And how we should take Nama Sankirtana? Sankirtana is congregational chanting of the holy names, or it also means Samyak Kirtanam iti Sankirtanam, means like complete glorification, or it also means that Bahubir Militva Kriyate Sankirtanam is Kriyate Kirtanam Tad Bhavati Sankirtanam. Bahubir means more than 3 people, plural. If more than 3 people come together in glorifying Krishna, and it could need not be just Nama Kirtan, it could be Nama, Guna, Rupa, Leela Kirtan. The class we give about, for example, this particular session where we are glorifying the holy name, this itself is also a Kirtan. It's a Nama Kirtan, like that, about talking about the glories of the holy name. So when everybody comes together to do the Sankirtana, that is where he says, and that has to be done niraparade. We all know about 10 offenses to the holy name. So without committing the 10 offenses, Namalaile, if we able to take the holy name, Paya Premadhana, then we obtain this greatest wealth of Prema. So we are all beggars for this Premadhana. We have all these material opulences, so many things, but still our heart is empty because we are missing this, the wealth of Prema. So we are beggars for this Prema. Okay. So now, what is specific about this holy name? So then we have to think a little bit about the current Yuga age we are in, which is called Kali Yuga, and what is the dharma of this age. So every Yuga has a particular dharma which helps them for people for the self-realization. So Satya Yuga, it's meditation, and Treta Yuga, it's yagya, and Dwapara Yuga, it's deity worship, and right now the Kali Yuga, that is the Nama Sankirtana. So we'll discuss few verses which elaborate this principle from the Shastras. Nama vinu kali kale nahi aradharma sarva mantra saranama e shastra vanma. So Kali Kale, in this age of Kali, there is no other dharma. Nahi aradharma, there is no other dharma. Nama vinu, without name. Without the name, without taking Krishna's name or Lord's name, any of the Vishnu avatara, there's no other dharma. And a Shastra Marma, the essence, the secret of all the Shastras is that Sarva Mantra Sara Nama. So all the Vedic mantras, if you take the essence of all the Vedic mantras, that is in the holy name. That is what this verse is telling. And then we all know this verse. Harer Nama Iva Kevalam Kalo Nastyeva Gatiranyatha. So in Kali Yuga, there is no other way. There 3 times it is given. No other way other than Harer Nama Eva Kevalam, taking the holy name of Hari. So why they are telling 3 times? They are telling that there is the Jnana Marga, the Dhyana Marga and Karma Marga will not help us to achieve the topmost position of even moksha as well as prema. So this is the image of a person crying out, taking shelter of the holy name, and this is the background of Kali Yuga, and Vishnu rescuing the Gajendra, like that. Through his names, Vishnu or Krishna is going to deliver us from this cycle of birth and death into the spiritual world. And then the next verse, Kaler dhosha nidhe rajan asti eko mahan gunaha kirtanadeva krishnasya mukta sangha param rajet. Kalehe dosha nidehe. In this Kali Yuga, where it is full of doshas, which is like bad qualities, right? Rajan, hey Rajan. So they are addressing Parikshit Maharaj. Ek asti eka mahan guna. There is one great good quality. There is only one. Ekaha mahan gunaha. What is that? Krishnasya kirtana deva. By just doing kirtan of Krishna, what will happen? Mukta sangaha. One gets dissociated with the material association, gets detached from material association, and param vrajet means parandama vrajet. He enters the spiritual world. That's what. By how? Krishnasya kirtana deva. Just by Krishna's kirtan. Okay. So of course, the chanting of the holy names has 3 aspects: japa, kirtan, and sankirtan. Right? So in these verses, in general, we can always see there is a glories for the holy name. Specific aspect also could be different, but in this session, we'll try to focus on japa as we come closer. So then, now the question is, okay, we are in Kali Yuga, we are given this holy name. And even the Dvaita Sampradaya, they also chant the holy name. Of course, they chant in Hare Rama first because they take it from the Vedic mantras. But our mantra is given from the tantras, which is accessible for everyone. Um, but then we have one special, wonderful opportunity, our good fortune, which is given by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is that? That's what we need to meditate on. So what is that? Krishna mantra haite bhabe samsara mochana. Krishna nama haite pabe Krishna charana. So here Krishna mantra, the Hare Krishna mantra as well as Krishna nama has been emphasized, that we get liberation from samsara as well as we attain Krishna's lotus feet. Okay. But which Krishna? That's a question. There is Krishna in Vaikunta, if we call everybody as expansion of Krishna. There is Krishna in Mathura, there's Krishna in Dwaraka, there's Krishna in Vrindavana. So which Krishna can we attain? Okay. So that's where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes. Yuga dharma pravartai mu nama sankirtana chari bhava bhakti diya nachamu bhuvana. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling what is the reasons he has appeared in this yuga. Kali Yuga. What is this? To inaugurate the Sankirtana Yagya, Nama Sankirtana Pavartaimu, to inaugurate the Sankirtana Yagya, as well as Chari Bhava Bhakti Diya, to give the 4 ways of Bhava Bhakti, right? And to make the whole world dance in ecstasy. That's why we have this image of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself dancing in ecstasy. And what are the 4 bhava rasas he's giving? The rasas, we have 5 rasas. Shanta rasa is generally not present in Vrindavana because everybody, even the trees, stones, everybody is conscious and they're imbued or assisting the Madhurya rasa. So the other four rasas Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given, which is first is Dasya rasa, which is to be a servant of the Lord Krishna and without any awe and reverence. Okay. And the second one is Dasya Sakhya rasa, being a friend of the Lord, like Subala, Sudama. Dasya rasa is Raktaka, Patraka. And then we have who is this? Vatsalya Rasa, Mother Yashoda Mata, Nanda Maharaj, and we have Madhurya Rasa, headed by the gopis of younger gopis of Vrindavana, headed by Srimati Radharani. So these are the 4 rasas he is freely distributing. So imagine the most precious jewel of Vrindavan, Braja, to attain Braja is being given to the most fallen people. And Gurudev also says, Kali Yuga is like a burnt remnants of all the previous yugas. Those who cannot fit in Satya Yuga, they come to Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga. Those who cannot fit in Treta Yuga are born in Dwapara Yuga, and those who cannot be qualified in Dwapara Yuga are born in Kali Yuga. So we are all such people. And Kalau Sudra Sambhavaha. Kalau in Kali Yuga, everybody is Shudras. Most of them are Shudras. So for such people, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving this topmost jewel. So that is what is our good fortune actually, once somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, what is our good fortune, Srila Prabhupada, that we came in contact with this Krishna consciousness movement. And Srila Prabhupada says, I created your good fortune. That's what Srila Prabhupada said. So similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is thinking, I want to give this Ujjvala Unnata Rasa, Swabhakti Shriyam, this my own bhakti, opulence of my own inner heart. Who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Radha Krishna, nahi Anya. Especially Krishna in the mood of Radharani. So as Radharani, her own mood, Krishna wants to distribute. And he's thinking, when is the right time to do? Then he understood, no way I'm not getting chance. So I'm just going to open the floodgates and just distribute it. That's how he appeared 500 years ago to do that, give that good fortune to us. Then on top of it, within this 4 rasas in Braja, the topmost is that he has revealed the topmost aspiration for all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, which is Radha Dhasyam. Radha Dhasyam, to be in the mood of a maid servant of Srimati Radharani, that especially in Madhurya Bhav, he has given that. Right? So that's why this is a very nice verse glorifying Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Chandramrita. It says, प्रेमानामद्भुतार्थः श्रवणपथगतः कस्य नाम्ना महिम्ना को वेत्ता कस्य वृन्दावन विपिनमहामाधुरीषु प्रवेश को वा जानाति राधां परमरसचमत्कारमाधुर्यसीमाम् एकश्चैतन्यचन्द्रः परमकरुणया सर्वमाविश्चकार. So these are all, this is essence of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy. What he has given, he has given Adbhuta Artha. Artha, there are 4 Purusharthas we have. What is that? Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. But he has given the Panchama Purushartha, which is Prema. Prema, Pumarto, Mahan. That is the greatest goal of all the living entities. And that he has given. And the glories of the holy name, that the holy name are so glorious. Who knows that? Kasya Shavana Patagataha, who knows on whose path of their ears has this message has come, that the prema is ultimate topmost goal of life, and that holy name, there is so many glories of the holy name. And who knows, ko vetta, who knows how to enter into Vrindavana Vipina forest, Maha Madhurishu, it's very, very sweet. Praveshaha, who can enter into Vrindavana? Kova Janati Radham, who knows about Radharani? Nobody knows about Radharani. None of the Sampradayas. Radharani is Veda Gopya. Srila Gurudev says, like, she's hidden in the Vedas and she's hidden in the hearts of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. She's worshipped by the gopis. But she is the, innermost potency of Lord Sri Krishna, and she's kept as a secret jewel, not to be revealed to anybody. Such a confidential knowledge. And what that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Parama, he is Avishchakara. He has inaugurated this. He has invented and he has revealed all of this. The Radharani is the topmost devotee of Sri Krishna. Okay, Parama Rasa Chamatkara Madhurya Seema. So her love is topmost limit of Madhurya. Madhurya Seema, there's a limit of Madhurya. So no, she is a Mahabhava Swarupini, right? There are only 3 devotees who can have that feeling: Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Madhavendra Puri, and Sri Radha. So that's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving us. So that's our good fortune. So what is the price we need to pay for this? That's where we are coming towards. So then now the question is, the price is Harinam Sankirtana. We understood that from beginning. So then this holy name, we need to now think a little bit about this holy name. So is it a material or a spiritual thing? So right, we all know it's Golokera Prema Dhana Harinam Sankirtana. So it's descended from the spiritual world. And Srila Prabhupada also says, we can keep saying water, 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 even though we are thirsty, our thirst doesn't quench. But when we chant the holy name, even though we don't have any taste, somehow every day, for so many years, we are chanting the mantra. There is some taste we are getting, and slowly, slowly, we are getting detached from the material enjoyment, right? So definitely, this is something very, very spiritual. So how we can understand from some pramanas. Holy name is spiritual. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukto Abhinnatvan Nama Namino. So how we can tell the holy name is completely non-different from Krishna is Abhinnatvat Nama Namino. Nama means name, Namina means the person whose name, the object, Vishaya of that name. So that is nothing but Krishna. So there is abhinnatvam, means there is a non-difference between the name and the person indicated by the name. Because of that, what will happen? This nama is Krishna Swayam, Krishna Eva. This nama, the holy name, is Krishna only. Krishna. When we say Krishna, it's Krishna only. Okay. And Chintamani, it's a transcendental touchstone. Right? We can chant the holy name and keep desiring heavenly, opulence. Yeah, it will definitely give you, or whatever. But if you desire ultimate thing of attaining love for Krishna, then that will also give. It will give that. Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. So it is the embodiment, or it's the complete figure of all the rasas. Complete, what to say, ecstatic rasas. And Purnaha, it's complete in itself, and Shuddhaha, completely pure. So even though we are contaminated, we chant like how sun, it can even purify dirty waters. right? The sun never gets contaminated. So similarly, this holy name, even though we are so contaminated, we chant, it can only have a purifying effect. And the main thing is Nitya Muktaha, it's eternally liberated. So we cannot demand, dictate the holy name. Okay, I've chanted for 30 years, I have done my quota, now give me prema. No, it's completely independent. How Krishna is independent, like that, his name is also completely Nitya Mukta, completely eternally liberated or independent. Okay. Next one, Golokera Premadhana Harinama Sankirtana. Narottam Das Thakur sings in his Prarthana that is descended from the Goloka Dham. So now, again coming back to what is our good fortune is, this Hare Krishna Mahamantra is, because it's given from tantras, it's accessible for anyone and everyone. Stri, Shudra, Dvijabandhu, everybody can access this. There is no birth restriction for that, and it is so powerful. It can elevate everybody into the highest, not only the mode of goodness, but to the mode of pure goodness also. And other advantage is, there is, see, if somebody may think, oh, I'm giving this precious jewel, right? Then somebody may think, wow, what a price, it should be then very difficult to access this, in the sense maybe I have to do a lot of tapasya to, do this. No, no hard and fast rules. What is this? We are being given a greatest bonanza, very free. No hard and fast rules. Namna makari bahuda nija sarva shaktis tatrarpita niyamita smaranena kala etadrishi tava kripa bhagavan mamapi durdhaiva midrishamiha janinanuragaha. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only is telling that you have invested all your potencies in your holy names and there are no hard and fast rules. But I am so fallen that due to offenses, I don't have any taste for your holy name. So, Durdhaivam, that's my misfortune. That's my bad, that's my unfortunate situation. So that's how we are We are given the topmost wealth, the process, but the thing is, somehow we are not able to access that wealth. Okay, so that's where we'll come to how. Is there anything, again, we'll reflect on how we can improve the process of chanting in a way which will help us to make this process more faster, to get, essentially we can move faster on the path so that we can avoid all these roadblocks or, other things due to our offenses. So how to chant japa? Okay, so this is a very nice verse from Hari Bhakti Vilasa. I will also come to what Srila Prabhupada says about how to chant japa. But this verse is kind of summarizes, what are the main things we need to think about during japa. Manah samharanam shaucham maunam mantrartha chintanam avyagratvam anirvedo japa sampatti hetavaha. So these are japa sampatti hetavaha, the causes for attaining great treasures in japa. As I mentioned, there are no hard and fast rules for chanting japa. So these are all only recommendations. So anywhere, everywhere, whatever situation, we can chant. There's no problem. But if we can kind of do little bit of more kind of showing our respect to the holy name, then perhaps we may get results faster. So that's what the suggestion is about. Okay. So we'll go about each of them a little bit more deep, because this is where actually our crux is. We need to know about practicality. Mana samharanam. This is the concentration of the mind or withdrawal of the mind to the meaning of the mantra, or bringing back the mind. Next slide, I'll talk about the japa lakshanam, what it is. But so here we can think about some context in Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna is telling, after Krishna spoke about, control your mind and everything. So Arjuna says, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna. This mind is like very restless. It's tasyaham nigraham vayoriva dushkaram, he says. The controlling this mind is as difficult as controlling the raging wind, he says. So then what does Krishna say? Krishna says, Abhyasena hi kaunteya. Okay, vairagyena cha gruhyate. So by constant practice, abhyasaha and vairagya, detachment. By constant practice and detachment, it's possible. So similarly, when we sit with the japa, we try to pray and sit. But the moment we start few beats, that's it, mind goes everywhere, right? So then how? We have to constantly practice to bring our mind back first to the hearing the holy name. And there is a higher stage that we will discuss little later. Just try to hear the holy name, right? Bring it back, constant practice and detachment. So how do we get detachment? Ours is not a process of don't. So we don't do this, don't do this. We do our do's, we do our positive things. Then Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayati Ashu Vairagyam Jnanam Chayat Ahetukam. Ashu, very quickly, by doing Bhagavati Vasudeve in Krishna devotional service, what happens? Janayati Vairagyam and Jnanam. Ahaituki, the uncontaminated or unconditional knowledge and detachment will automatically come to us. So we only endeavor for positive steps in bhakti. Of course, we need to also remove the thing which is tied, right? You remember the story of the marriage party, right? Marriage party wants to cross the boat to the other side to meet the bride's party so that there can be a marriage next day. But they keep rowing the whole night, and next day morning they see that they are at the same place. What happened is that the rope was not removed from the anchor at the shore. So while we are doing our great endeavors in chanting strides in our bhakti, we also need to let go of our attachments. At least, we may have impurities, that's why it's called Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti. We are not expecting pure devotees to come at the beginning. We all have impurities, but we are willing to move forward and taste the highest nectar. That's the qualification. But if we hold on while trying to do our bhakti and hold on to our material attachments, then progress will be slow. Okay. So then next one. So concentrate the mind by constant practice and detachment. Okay. Saucham, actually it should be shaucham. Okay. Shaucham, cleanliness and purity. Okay. So cleanliness is like internal, external cleanliness, internal cleanliness by chanting. Of course, external cleanliness, we try to take bath before we touch the beads and chant as much as possible. There will be extraneous situations like when somebody is in a critical situation, hospital, or when somebody has given birth to a child. There will be extreme situations like this, definitely. Of course, there are no hard and fast rules. So we can continue to chant wherever we are. But if at all practically it's possible, or somebody may be traveling long distance in a train, it may be more cleaner to not take bath in the railway bathroom than taking bath sometimes. So in those cases, there are extreme situations. But otherwise, if you are at home, there's hot water available nicely, then minimally we should take bath before chanting our rounds. Of course, these are all recommendations. Maunam, silence. So silence means what? So it is recommended that at least during the one round, maybe we should not speak, to others or, anybody else. At least one round, we should try to chant without a break, like that. And if you increase more, that's much better. But we are all, householders with children and lot of occupational duties, everything. It may not be practical, but at least we need to know what is the goal we need to strive towards. Gradually, we need to mold our life for simple living, such a way that eventually we will come to the stage when our kids are settled and when they are all, we finish our responsibilities. At least we are able to do this. Okay. And also we can train our kids, even the kids are small. Should tell, this is father, and father is now sitting and chanting. This just, or take turns. When mother is chanting, father takes care, like that. So such a way that both of them have a quality time per japa. At least few rounds of golden rounds we can do per day, whatever we decide based on our capacity. Okay, and then mantrartha chintanam means meditating on the meaning of the holy name while we are chanting. Srila Prabhupada also says, right, the multiple meanings are given to us. Srila Prabhupada says the common meaning is, oh Krishna, oh Srimati Radharani, please engage me in your service. Okay, that please engage me in your internal potency. I don't want to be engaged in this Maya, which bewilders me away from Krishna. Okay, and eventually, much deeper prayer is to actually engage us in a personal service in Sri Vrindavan Dham. That's the highest level. Okay, that's one meaning. Other meaning, Gurudev also says, right? In one context, Srila Prabhupada says, "Oh friend, oh friend, oh friend." So, that's in the mood of rasa. We think of Krishna as our friend. And Gaura Govinda Maharaj says, Hare Krishna Mahamantra means crying, 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 crying for the service. Right? That's another meaning. Other meaning, Srila Gurudev says, in a Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, actually Radha Rani, Krishna, Goloka Vrindavana, Giri Govardhan, Yamuna Devi, all of Vrindavan, everything is there. All the pastimes, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Leela, everything is there in the holy name. So we are not able to access that yet. But at least we know, because our acharyas, for example, Haridas Thakur was chanting 192 rounds per day. So how, without getting the taste, how is able to do that? There's something else he's accessing. That is the goal we need to head towards. Then avyagratvam means non-haste. So see, for example, minimally, quality round will take 6.5 to 8 minutes. Srila Prabhupada said, right? So if suppose we are running for a bus, going towards a bus to go to our office, and it's just exactly 8 minutes. So we don't want to try to rush and finish that round. And then keep checking the clock all the time. Am I, finishing that round versus missing the bus? We are always anxious. So at least when we have good enough time that we can do it without rushing, we can chant. Okay, and then avyagratvam, then anirvedaha, mean non-dejection. Non-dejection, this is basically patience. Like, I've been chanting 20 years, nothing is happening. What is this? Is it working really? Right? Prabhupada said that it takes actually, out of his humility, one time he said, it takes 30 years to perfect one's japa. So, that's one thing. And patience is very important. So as I said, as we discussed, that Nitya Muktaha, right? The holy name is eternally liberated and independent. So it gives results based on its own criteria at its own pace. All we have to do is do our part nicely and keep hearing about the glories of the holy name and how to chant without offenses and how to improve our japa, everything. So I will just give you my personal little bit instruction from Srila Gurudev. First time when I went to aspire for Srila Gurudev in Vrindavan under Govind Charan Prabhu Rasika Mataji's guidance. After that, that was my first Vrindavan trip actually. So after that, somehow I was standing in one place and Gurudev's car was crossing and going to a different place. And I was alone standing there. So Gurudev obviously compassionately rolled down his window. And then I asked Srila Gurudev any instructions. Then he said, improve your quality of japa. In my neophyte nature, I was thinking at that time, I was just 6 months into Krishna consciousness. It is 2004. In my neophyte, this thing, I was thinking, I'm already chanting that japa. Is there anything more? Is there any other more instructions he could give? I was thinking, luckily I didn't tell. And then Srila Gurudev said, okay, try to read every day, half an hour like that. And recently also I had an exchange and I asked some instructions and Gurudev was saying, try to improve your japa. So you can see now it's almost 21 years so-called I'm chanting. So see, this is like that's a goal to come to this. Always we can improve. Srila Gurudev says, actually, recent lecture during New Year in where is that place? I forgot the place. New Year lecture he gave, right? He was telling, unless we come to the stage where we are crying when we chant the holy name, there is always improvement. So if you feel like, I chanted 20 rounds, 20 years, 30 years, there's nothing. The goal is in the quality, whether we are able to chant years, Punjabi Bag, correct. Thank you, Prabhu. Anshu, yeah. So to actually feel that affection for Krishna and cry tears. So that until that time, we can always improve. We should always figure out where we can improve. Okay. Okay, now continuing. This is Srila Prabhupada's instruction. While chanting, okay, I'll not read. Okay, while chanting Hare Krishna, you should always feel the presence of Krishna in person. Okay. And as soon as you remember Krishna in person, you can remember also about his talks with Arjuna. If you cannot remember Krishna in person, you should try to hear attentively the word Krishna, Hare, as you go on chanting. So we have heard initially during our japa sessions, we have heard all we have to do is Just try to hear yourself chant attentively. That's what we were told. Initially, that's what we need to do, because we don't have attraction for Krishna as a person, and we cannot even remember Krishna even though we are chanting his name. But the highest stage is actually to remember feel the presence of Krishna. But if you cannot do it, the practice stage is to actually start hearing attentively that the holy name will cleanse us. That becomes like an aushadhi, medicine, because that's a bitter medicine we are taking. So that when the disease goes away, then the real healthy Krishna consciousness arises, where we can slowly feel the presence of Krishna when we chant his name. So this is a Japa Lakshanam given by Govinda in Smarana Paddhati by Dhyanachandra Goswami. मनोमध्ये स्थितो मंत्रो मंत्रमध्ये स्थितं मनः मनोमन्त्रसमायुक्तं एतद्धि जपलक्षणम्. See, lakshanam means it's a characteristic. So what do we call japa? Japa means actually the mantra should be manomadhye, situated within the mind. Okay, that is the attention. The mantra should be situated in the mind. That means the mind should only be thinking about mantra. Okay, mantra madhye sthitam manaha means the mind is also this both in way it looks the same, but mind is also meditating on the meaning of the mantra, basically the personalities involved and everything. So okay, so mind is going towards the personalities in the mantra. That is about affection, that comes with affection. So this first part is trying to attentively hear the mantra, just trying to put the mantra into our mind. This is trying to put the mind into the mantra. That means slowly as we become advanced, when we are getting attached to Krishna's pastimes, specific pastimes, or his past stories and Leela, Guna, and Rupa, everything, then when we chant the holy name, hopefully little bit glimpses of these pastimes will come to our thought. But along with chanting, we should support it by constant hearing. That's the other thing we'll talk about in practicals. So the first part is about manomadhya sthito mantra, is attention. The second part is about affection. So attention, we are told, for example, how to bring the mind back and how to hear, like that, we are trying to do. But this is a trick of affection which I learned from Srila Haripashad Prabhu's classes. I wanted to share here how to develop this affection. All credit goes to him for picking these essential topics and sharing with us through his classes. So I'm just putting a summarized version of this because we don't have much time. So sarvesham bhagavan namnam samano mahimapi chet tathapi swapriyenashu swartha siddhi sukham bhavet. This is Brihad Bhagavatamrita verse. Sarvesham Bhagavan Namnam, all the names of Bhagavan, Samano Mahimapi Chet. Mahimapi Chet, there is Dirgha should be there here. Even though it could have been, even though all of them have same glory, same potency, then Tathapi, even then, Swapriyena Ashu, quickly, very quickly, Swapriyena, by one's own dear name, when they chant, Swartha Siddhihi, whatever ultimate inner desires we have, will we get fulfilled, and Sukham Bhavet, and we also attain eternal happiness. So the key is Swapriya Nama. That's the key actually to hold on to. I will talk about this in a bit. So this also given in Srimad Bhagavata's verse also. Evam Rata Swapriya Nama Kirtya Jatanurago Druta Chitta Uchai Hasati Atho Rodati Rauti Gayati Unmadavan Nityati Loka Bahyai. This exactly is our Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Evam Vrata, by taking this Vrata of chanting and dancing, so Priyanama Kirtya, by glorifying, uttering one's own dear name which is very dear to oneself, Anuraga Jataha, one's own attachment to Krishna gets increased, and his mind, his chitta is completely melted. Completely, the heart is fully melted, and loudly he hasati, laughs, he cries, and he sometimes screams and he sings. And Unmadavat, like a madman, he dances without care for what be public opinion. So that is the highest stage when one attains love of Godhead, through which can be accelerated by chanting one's Priya name. then one can come to this state. So what about this Priya Nama? What does it mean, right? So basically we are given this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to chant. But maybe the Krishna name as it is may not be really attractive to everybody. Maybe we may like certain other names like Govinda or Madhava or Mukunda or Yashodanandana or Devaki Nandana or any other or the word, the names which we come in the songs of the acharyas. So when we hear those names, some special feeling arises in our heart with those names of Krishna, that we feel this name belongs to me, or mamatva, the feeling of, this name is specially made for me. Immediately it kind of gives a sweet feeling of the past time, right? Or for example, Damodara, or immediately we can remember Radharani tying Krishna. That's one pastime. Or Yashoda Mata tying Krishna. So that kind of special feeling we will get. So we need to figure out what is that Priya Nama for us. Apart from chanting our 16 rounds on the Hare Krishna mantra, rest of the day we should try to sing these names, because we have that special affection for that name. As we increase that affection for that name, gradually all other names also become very affectionate to us, and gradually our Hare Krishna Maha Mantra also becomes very sweet, and we develop affection for that. No, that's the whole trick for this Swapriya Nama. So we all have to go back and research and figure out what is my dearmost name of Krishna. So now we'll wrap up with the practical tips here. So there is people have some tradition of chanting some prayers before we take the holy beads and chant, just to prepare our mood. And of course, chanting in the Brahma Muhurta, chanting in the association of devotees, and all of them are very good. And then also we can, as Grihasthas, practically we can pick some number of rounds as golden rounds, where we chant with best of our attention and affection as possible. Like before the all the family gets up and runs around, maybe we get up a little early, or find some time where fix our golden rounds, make sure that's a minimum we do properly, attentively, and rest of it we can try to do as much as possible, the best we can. And attention and affection. So we listen attentively, and then rest of the day sing away our Swapriya Nama, rest of the day. Then main thing is we have to do detachment. The detachment comes with bhakti, which is Vasudeva Bhagavati, right? So we have to regularly hear Krishna Katha. We should not even pass one day, at least not even one day, at least not hearing even 10 minutes of Krishna Katha, because this will help us again and again reflect what is our goal, where we are heading, and in this busy life of working around our duties. We can always come back as to, like, okay, this is just temporary thing I'm doing, but actually I want to go there. This is my goal. Right, like that. Then actually there's a very nice concept. Once I think Radhanath Maharaj was asked, what about the rest of the time? What do we do? So Maharaj was telling that 22 hours are actually in preparation for the 2 hours. So it's not about just the 2 hours what we chant and okay, now keep the bead bag and we do whatever we want, right? How we conduct ourselves rest of the 22 hours, what association we take, how we absorb ourselves in Krishna Katha or Krishna Kirtan or association of devotees, and what bad things we do in the other side also will immediately affect our japa next day. There is no doubt about it. And reverse also, the amount of attention we give during the chanting actually carries that attention rest of the day. The peace or happiness we experience during the chanting will carry us throughout our day. So it's both ways actually. So this is like our power. Prabhupada said, right? Morning program, evening program, middle is a sandwich. We do our work in the middle. So like that, this is our power energizer in the morning. As much, at least we should try to chant one round before we go to work attentively, so that we have the energy to, or we have the ability to tolerate the situations we face, and all this politics and diplomacy and all the backbiting, everything, and be peaceful and come back to our duties. And of course, sincerity is such an important factor. at a certain point, as we go advanced, or as we kind of shift places, we may be in a place where we don't have association. There may be not be any person who will tell us, you're doing on the you're on the wrong track, you're doing bad. But if you have a sincerity, somehow very little soon into that path, you will get a feeling, oh, this is not right, I'm not supposed to do this. So Krishna will help us, guide us in that way. So sincerity, what is the definition of sincerity? Srila Prabhupada says sincerity means no ulterior motive. So I'm doing this only for Krishna's pleasure, not to attain a position or followers or fame or all these things. Even though that desires may be there, but no, I'm not actively cultivating them. The desires will gradually go away in just a matter of time. Okay, and of course avoiding the 10 offenses. Then nothing comes for free, right? We all know whatever our academic education, whatever we have accomplished, we had to work on it. So similarly, we are given this very easy process, practical process. All we have to do is again keep working on it. Okay, and this is another instruction recently we received from Srila Gurudev, 3 P's of bhakti. So the path of bhakti, Srila Gurudev said, is about patience, perseverance, and purification. So patience. So we do this utsaha nishtaya dhairyat, right? Tattat karma pravartanat sangatyago satovritte shadbir bhaktir prasiddhyati. So we have to be enthusiastic, but at the same time, we should be patient. So initially, when I heard this, I was thinking, how this seems to be very contradictory. Why, if I have enthusiasm, then how can I be patient? So we should be enthusiastic in our efforts. We should be patient for our results. That's the whole thing, right? So Krishna and Holy Name can give the results at their own pace whenever they feel it's right for them. They are pleased with us. And but we should persevere, in the sense we should put our persistent efforts in this path, and gradually through purification, vairagya, as well as detachment, and through bhakti. How does purification come? Through bhakti. The side effect of bhakti is purification. Then eventually we can taste the holy name. So we can aspire for this final goal for us, which Rupa Goswami says in Vidagdha Madhava. It says, Tunde Tandavini Vitanute Tundavali Labdhaye Karna Kroda Kadambini Khatayate Karnarbhudebhya Spruham Chetha Prangana Sangini Vichayate Sarvendriyanam Kritin No Jane Janita Kiyadhiramrutai Krishneti Varnadvai. So Srila Rupa Goswami is saying Varnadvai, these two-syllabled Krishna. This is a feminine form in Sanskrit. Krishna iti Varnadvai, this female Krishna, the two-syllabled name Krishna, is creating no jane janita kiyadbir amrutaihi. How much nectar, unlimited nectar it's producing, and nobody knows. No jane, I'm not able to express that much nectar it's producing. How it's doing? It's that when it's tunde in my mouth, tandavini, when it's dancing, it's like a dancer. Then it increases the attachment, or increases the desire to tundavali labdhaye, that I want to have many years, right? Tundavali, avali means like a chain, a line, many years I wish labdhaye praptyartham, for the sake of achieving so many years. It increases the desire to have so many years. And when this holy name enters Karna Kroda, the ear holes of the ears, Kadambini, it starts sprouting, and it makes the desire to attain, Spruham, desire to attain, Karnar Budhebhyaha, millions of years. So it creates an intense desire, it sprouts the desires to attain many millions of years. Because why? We are not satisfied with one tongue and one ears. So that much happiness a devotee is experiencing. And when it enters the Chetaha Prangana, the inner hearts of the Chetaha mind or the heart, it becomes associate, companion, Sangani. What it does, Sarvendriyanam Kritim Vijayate. So all the activities of the senses, it makes it inert. It conquers over all the activities of the senses. So, so that is the goal. Eventually, we should experience this much nectar that that automatically all our senses would not desire to go anywhere else, but to hear the holy name and just taste the nectar of the holy name. That's how our Srila Prabhupada is trying to exhibit here through his image. So I'll just read this translation, wrapping up here. I do not know how much nectar the two-syllable Krishna have produced. When the holy name of Krishna is chanted, it appears to dance within the mouth, where we then desire many, many mouths. When that name enters the holes of the ears, we desire many millions of ears. And when the holy name dances in the courtyard of the heart, it conquers the activities of the mind, and therefore all the senses become inert. Jai Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki Jai. So we'll end with Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. All glories to our Gurujanas. And now, if you have any questions or comments, we can take it at this point. I'm sorry, I'm like 5 minutes late, I guess. Yes, Prabhuji, Namaras Prabhu.
Hi, Krishna Mataji.
Hare
Thank you so much for that wonderful class on the holy name. I mean, I think there have been like 43 troopers calls in the last 1 year. And if I talk about the regular ones, there are very few handpicked ones which I feel are giving a lot of portion to my bhakti, especially your class today, His Grace Haridas Vari Prabhu's classes on the climaxes of the Bhagavad Gita this year specifically. I mean, I've not missed even one single one of them, but there are very few ones which have nourished. So my question today, Mataji, is related to the Swapriya Naam that you described. I have heard from His Grace Gauravani Prabhu in the Rishikesh Kirtan Festival. Once he was giving a class before the Kirtan, and he said that there is each and every soul has a specific holy name. There are unlimited holy names of Krishna. There are Ananta names, like Ananta Deva is chanting and glorifying Krishna, and still he doesn't find an end. And each and every there are unlimited living entities, there are unlimited jivatmas, and each one of them has a specific name of Krishna by which they, like to address Krishna, like we said, the Swapriyanam. And you mentioned that we have to, kind of research on this, and you can say chant it after we have chanted our 16 rounds and the Niyamit Sankhya we have done, then we can chant the Swapriyanam. So, but then my question is, Mataji, that if we have like unlimited names, how can we like research on this? And when do we really know that this is the name that I really like of Krishna?
So, Prabhuji, like there are some resources. Of course, one thing is about literature, right? One is like Sanatana Goswami has written that what is that Stava? What not Stavavala? What is it? Sri Krishna Leela Stava, which is a summary of 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam in the form of Krishna's names. So, when we come across such literature or even songs of Krishna, Jaya Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari, we will find some specialness in those names when compared to what we don't find in the name Krishna. Like because we feel it's monotonous or whatever, right? Somehow we don't get the taste in Krishna, maybe. So for some people, Krishna itself may be a very attractive name. But based on this, all based on our rasa also, it requires some purification also for us to even detect, that we are even attracting to anything. Otherwise, we will go through all the list and feel, oh, there's nothing attractive, correct? So it requires also some amount of purification and mercy and sincerity, and then eventually we will find that name, and spontaneously we will utter that. Actually, when it comes to that stage, see, now we have to like, oh, now I have to sit and chant. It feels like that. But when we are given free time, okay, now we are given 2 hours, do whatever you want, that's when we feel like singing that name. That's when we know that is our Swapriya Nama. Because we are relishing a very deep connection with that name and the pastimes it reveals in this name, that nobody has to force us to do that. So that's where we will know that it's really our Swapriya Nama. And then gradually all other names also become very, very dear to us. The affection will spill over everywhere. Hope it helps you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much, Mataji. That really helps.
Okay, thank you. So any other questions, comments, anybody? Okay, who else is somebody raised their hand? Now Kishore Prabhu. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji, for your class. I got reminded of one doha which I read. In previous Kartik Yatra, we visited Pandav Ganga. So on the walls there were lots of verses written. So one went as follows that माला फिरत हाथ में जिह्वा मुंह माही मन फिरत छब सब जगह यह तो जप नहीं. So after reading that, I worked on my attentive chanting. Thank you, Mataji, for reminding me that.
You can translate that, Prabhuji, for people who don't know. It will be very nice.
Mala firat hath mein. The beads are going around in the hands. Jiva mumahi, and the tongue is vibrating inside the mouth. Man firat sab jagah. Mind is roaming around everywhere. Yeh to jap nahi. This is not chanting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Mantra madhye sthito manaha. Manu madhye sthita mantra. That's our japa lakshanam. We have to come back. Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji. Very, very sweet. Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Otherwise, we can move on to the next section, I guess. Reading of the daily chapter. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for everybody for patiently listening. Please bless me, all of you, that whatever I spoke, I can also implement sincerely and serve all of you. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, for that wonderful class on the holy name. So today we will be reading the diary chapter. I have selected 2 chapters. So the link is shared on the Troopers group. Is there anyone who would be willing to read the diary chapter? Tanushri Radha Mataji, yes. Śyāmalā Mataji, Mataji, is it possible for you to share the screen?
Yeah, sure, Prabhuji. I will share. Yeah. So which one we are reading?
Mataji, it's from the 2nd volume, chapter number 23.
Okay, one.
Volume 2, part 2, chapter number 23 and 24.
Volume 2, part 3. Okay, I'm trying to open the link here. Okay, what is volume 2? Volume 2, chapter 2. Part 2. Volume 2, part 2, right? Chapter number
Part
23.
23 and 20. Yeah.
A devotee of Krishna can create Vrindavan everywhere, right?
Yes, yes, Mataji.
Okay, I will share, Prabhuji, once. Okay. Can you see, right? Okay. You can see, right, Prabhuji?
Yes, yes, Mataji, we can see. Tanushri Radha Mataji, if you are there, you can please go ahead. Mataji, even Gopi Mandala Mataji is volunteering to read the chapter.
Yeah, Nishita Sharma and Geetika Gupta also volunteering. Okay, Gopi Mandala Mataji is there. I think she raised her hand first. She can do that.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Just a second, Prabhu. I'm opening my phone because it's not so, visibility is not so good. Volume 2, Part 2, Chapter 23. A devotee of Krishna can create Vrindavan everywhere. By His Holiness Indradyumna Swami. Saturday, October 26. We rose at midnight to catch the 4 a.m. flight to Baku, Azerbaijan. Russian flights often leave in the early morning hours. It's another austerity to be accepted. One desires to preach in this country. On the way to the airport, I realized that we were into the first hours of Kartika, the auspicious month of Lord Damodara. I thought that many devotees must be on their way to Sri Vrindavan Dham in India at that moment. Devotional service to the Lord is magnified many times in the holy atmosphere of Vrindavan in the month of Kartika. And traditionally, devotees go there to make spiritual progress. Thus, it could be said that I was headed in the wrong direction. Azerbaijan, a Muslim country north of Iran, could hardly be considered an auspicious place by any strict Vaishnava. Nevertheless, I was happy to be going here. I like to go to India when the opportunity arises, but even when I'm there, I find myself praying to the deities of Vrindavan, Madan Mohan, Govindaji, and Gopinath, to please give me service in the Sankirtan movement in the West. So, this morning I somehow felt closer to Lord Damodara by going to Baku rather than Vrindavan. I was serving their lordship's desires. Srila Prabhupada sent a letter to Kirti Raj, Kirti Raj Das in 1976. If you can preach vigorously in Poland, it would be a great asset. You may come to Vrindavan if you like, but preaching in Poland is my greater interest. So now Vrindavan is somehow being managed. Now the most important work is that side in the communist countries. If you can do something there, it is more than if you come here. Our business is to glorify Krishna as the Lord Vrindavan, as the Lord of Vrindavan, and to popularize Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Hare Krishna movement. I was a resident in Vrindavan, but at the age of 70, I tried to preach Krishna consciousness a little bit. And now this institution has come out. So I think it is more profitable to preach about the master of Vrindavan, Krishna, outside of Vrindavan. A devotee of Krishna can create Vrindavan everywhere by preaching the glories of Krishna. Because Azerbaijan is at war with neighboring Armenia at Keter, uh, Keter, Ekaterinburg airport, we went through Ekat. Sorry, thank you, Mary. Ekaterinburg airport. We went through a grueling 3-hour routine of 3 security checks. The atmosphere was tense as the crowd, 90% Azerbaijani men, submitted to the ordeal. I mentioned to Uttama Shloka how strange it seemed that there were no women. He smiled. In Muslim countries, he said, women don't travel very much. They stay at home and take care of the children. Every one of the men checking in had tough looking features. They were all burly, and each had a mustache and was dressed in a dirty black leather jacket and a typical fur hat. Although it made me a bit uneasy. Uh, are they as mean as they look? I asked Uttama Shloka. A devotee of Krishna can create Vrindavan everywhere. They are mean because all of them have fought in the war with Armenia, he said, but they are not as tough as the Chechens. While I was meditating on Uttama Shloka's unusual reply to an unusual question from his Guru Maharaj, one of the men startled me when he approached me abruptly. Are you Hare Krishna's? He asked. Not knowing if he was friend or foe, I took the risk to extend my hand and answer. Yes, I said, we are devotees of Krishna. His steel like grip around my hand indicated he was favorable, and we started talking. He admitted he knew nothing about us, but was eager to learn. All eyes were upon us as I asked Uttama Shloka to give him a Russian Bhagavad Gita. Within a moment, that man had bought the book and then took it back for his friends to see. Thus, by the time we had finished with the security and were waiting to board, we had become a sensation. A large crowd of men gathered around us and in a respectful way began asking questions. Why are you coming to our country? A man asked. We are Muslims. We are coming to encourage the people in devotion to Allah, I replied. But you are not a Muslim, he said. God is one and is called by many names: Allah, Jehovah, Buddha, Krishna. We want to encourage people in religious principles, I said. What do you think of our Azerbaijani soldiers? He said. When I was a young man in the army, I said, my commander used to praise the courage of Azerbaijani soldier. We like uh, we like you, the man said. You are you are our brother. May Allah bless you. When it came time to board, the men cleared a path for us so we could enter the plane first. They stepped aside to let me on. Salam alaikum. May God be with you, they said, nodding their heads. We arrived at Baku 2 hours later. The Azerbaijani customs officers were just as difficult as the Russian officers had been, questioning and searching everyone. As we stood nervously in line, a large man in front of me turned around and smiled. You have nothing to worry about, he said. I'll be your bodyguard. And our fears were for naught. When we came to combined immigration and custom desk, the men in uniform were respectful. They asked about our faith and even our philosophy and quickly processed us. As we entered the reception hall, we met a large crowd of Azerbaijanis, but this time they were dressed in dhotis and saris. In many ways, the devotees looked similar to their countrymen: the black hair, the dark eyes, and the Muslim jewelry. But their faces shone with enthusiasm and purity as they greeted us with the chanting of the holy names. They looked like angels to me. Seeing this contrast to the men I had traveled with, one of my favorite verses came to mind. Kirata Hundandra Pulinda Pulksha Abhira Chumbha Yavana Sha uh, Khasha Daya Ye Nye Cha Papa Yad Apasraya Sudhyanti Tasmai Prabha Vishnave Nama Kirata Hue Andhra Pulinda Pulkasha Abhira Subha Yavana, members of the Khasa races, and even other addicted to sinful acts can be purified by taking shelter of devotees of the Lord. Due to his being the supreme power, I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Srimad Bhagavatam 2.4.18. Every preacher has his favorite places, and the Baku temple is one of mine. I'm always happy to be back in the Islamic country where it is so fascinating to preach. It is usually extremely difficult to preach Krishna consciousness in Arab worlds, but we are registered in Azerbaijan as a bona fide religion with limited rights to propagate our faith. Certainly, the limitations are restrictive: no public assemblies, no public programs, no Harinam Sankirtan, and no television or radio shows. And the government recently blocked a shipment of 23 tons of books sent by the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust. However, I was surprised when Temple President Ameya Das told me the government had recently put a ban on all foreign preachers in order to curtail their activities in Azerbaijan. Then how did I get in? I asked. They don't see us as a real threat yet, he replied. Through the years, the Baku temple has built up a sincere and devout following of more than 1,000 devotees and members. From the rented house that serves as a temple, one can see the local mosque. The neighborhood is always bustling with devotee activity. The temple has an open courtyard which often resounds with kirtan that can be heard for blocks. But no one complains. In fact, a number of the local people have become devotees. When I arrived at the temple, many neighbors were standing among the devotees, and some of them even greeted me with Hare Krishna. I smiled back, and in appreciation of their politeness, in addressing me, so replied, Allahu Akbar, great is God. Oh, God is great. Sorry. I also appreciate Azerbaijan because Islamic tradition has similarities to Vedic culture. For example, men and women don't mix freely. Women are taught to be chaste and shy, and gambling and intoxication are discouraged, although not forbidden. There is also a strong sense of respect for one's superiors within Islam. Young boys and girls are trained to be respectful to their elders, and they are. This is an invaluable quality that devotees who join ISKCON in Azerbaijan bring with them. I find it most helpful in my relationship with my 30 disciples here. Their mood is always one of deep respect and veneration for their spiritual master. It is helpful in training them in Krishna consciousness.
Jai
Thank
Ho.
you, Mataji.
Um, so we also have the chapter number 24, which is a very short chapter. So would anyone like to read that chapter? And after that chapter, we could have realizations. Gitika Mataji, you volunteered for reading the chapter, right?
Tanushri Mataji is saying, can I read next one?
Yes, Mataji. Please go ahead. Tanushree Radha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam to all of you. Am I audible?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
Can somebody else share, Prabhuji? I can take a break.
Okay. Volume 2, Part 2, Chapter 24. The importance of cows and the holy name of Vishnu. Today, one of my disciples has told me that she is constantly being harassed by ghosts. Before coming to Krishna consciousness, I didn't believe in a ghost. But through the Vedic culture, we can understand that they do exist. Srila Prabhupada writes, ghosts and mischievous hobgoblins are also the creation of Brahma. They are not false. All of them are meant for putting the conditional soul into various miseries. They are understood to be creation of Brahma under the direction of the Supreme Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam 3.20 40 purport. My advice to my disciple was to take a shelter of holy names. This is the remedy for the ghost given in a Vedic scripture and emphasized by Srila Prabhupada. Thus, the mother Yashoda began to chant different name of Vishnu to protect the child Krishna's different bodily parts. Mother Yashoda was firmly convinced that she should protect her child from different kind of evil spirit and the ghost, namely Dakinis, Yatudhanis, Kushmandas, Yakshas, Rakshasas, Vinayakas, Kotara, Revati, Jeshta, Putana, Matrakas, Unmad, and similar other evil spirits who cause the person to forget their own existence and give trouble to the life, air, and senses. Sometimes they appear as an old woman and suck the blood of small children. But all such ghosts and evil spirits cannot remain where there is the chanting of the holy name of God. Mother Yashoda was firmly convinced of a Vedic injunctions about the importance of cows and the holy name of Vishnu. Therefore, She took full shelter in a cow's and the name of Vishnu to protect her child Krishna. Krishna Book, Chapter 6. My disciple said that some devotees told her that for her holy name to be effective in dealing with the ghost, the name must be chanted purely. But the Srimad Bhagavatam glorifies the effect of even unconscious chanting of the holy name. आपनः संस्मृतिं घोरं यन्नाम विवासो गृणम् ततः सद्यो विमुच्यते यत् बिभेति स्वयं भयम्. Living beings who are entangled in a complicated meshes of birth and death can be freed immediately by even unconsciously chanting the holy name of Krishna, which is a feared by fear personified. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.14. There, there are other references. O Harinam, O name sung by the sages, O transcendental syllables that bring bliss to the people, even if they are spoken only once, and even if you are spoken disrespectfully, you at once remove the harsh sufferings of the everyone. Sri Namashtak, text 2. The Vedas that, declare that although meditation on impersonal Brahman cannot bring freedom from the past karma, O holy name, your appearance at once make all the karma disappear. Sri Namashtak, text 4. Thank you. If I'm mistaken, sorry.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for reading that chapter so wonderfully. Um, so anyone would like to share their realizations on both the diary chapters? Hare Krishna, am I audible?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. So from the first chapter which Gopi Mandala Mataji read, I was meditating on the wonderful qualities which Gurudev mentions in the last part of the chapter, how Krishna consciousness is also similar to the Islamic traditions, and how the children in Islam are taught to respect their elders, and what qualities Gurudev is actually teaching us through the Islamic people as well. How they are obedient, respectful towards their spiritual master. They have the submissiveness. So I was just meditating that a pure devotee is actually like a swan, and even though the shastric injunction comes that there is a if milk and water are mixed together, the pure devotee is such like a swan that they can just take the milk and leave the residue water separately. So Gurudev, being such a um, wonderful personality, he sees the good qualities in everyone, and he's teaching us that even though we might think what actually these people possess, they are not even born in Bharat Bhumi, they don't know anything about Krishna consciousness, or they are not trained in any Vaishnav culture, but Gurudev shows us their wonderful qualities which we might not possess, but they do possess. So I like that very much. And also on the second chapter, Gurudev stressed about the holy name, and how just by inattentive chanting of the holy name as well, ghosts can immediately leave the place, and a devotee can always find a shelter in the holy name and feel protected. So that is what I wanted to share. Yes, Girdhari Pro, you were saying something.
So I was just I like the point where Srila Gurudev writes about everyone is going to Kartik, to Vrindavan in the month of Kartik, and he is heading towards Baku in the opposite direction. But still, he is very happy doing that because that is the service that is the preaching. He wants to do preaching. He wants to bring more and more people to Vrindavan. That's why he's going in the opposite direction, and he's still happy. Many times he says that his favorite temple, and today he said Baku, but he says my favorite temple is in the doing Sankirtan in the corner of the street. So yeah, that shows his mood of how he always wants to preach, preach, preach. Today, when His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj was giving his introduction in Chowpatty Temple, he mentioned that actually, coincidentally, he spoke on Narad Muni only. And he says, like Narad Muni travels across all the planets, our Indradumna Maharaj also has traveled to so many different places that nobody has traveled and has preached to all kind of people. So I thought it's very apt that Gurudev's heart lies in preaching. And what Śyāmalā Mataji gave a class on chanting. So if we all chant nicely and follow the tips Mataji has given, I like specifically like the practical tips Mataji gave. There was a lot of philosophy is there, but how to do it, then Mataji very nicely explained. And then we can all also help in some or the other manner in the preaching mission of Srila Gurudev. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Yes, Priji. Indeed, that lecture by Radhanath Maharaj and Gurudev today was ecstatic. Nishika Mataji wanted to share something. Mataji, are you there?
Hi Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. Hi Krishna to everyone. It's Nishtha Prabhuji. So first of all, thank you Mataji for the wonderful class. Secondly, I was just reading today Srimad Bhagavatam 1.18.18, where it is stated that chanting of the holy names deliver one from the effects of sins and of lower caste birth. And I could relate it to instantly when I heard the first chapter that was read in the class, where it was stated when Gurudev went to Baku, where people from the neighborhood also came and greeted him with Hare Krishna, and where Shri Gurudev reverted in return, as I believe, if I'm correct. I think it was, I forgot the term, I'm so
Allahu
sorry.
Akbar.
Allahu
Allahu
Akbar,
Akbar.
yeah, yes. So he reverted with that. So I could just relate with this thing that as a great preacher, preaching is not always with the way you speak, preaching is with your actions also. So he has very nicely conducted it there that he made a person feel so comfortable in his presence, where they feel naturally attracted to Krishna consciousness. One point was this. And second point was this, that chanting of the holy names deliver one from the effects of sins and of lower caste birth, that we could see, as you also mentioned, Panjanya Prabhuji, in the beginning, that though they've not taken birth in Bharat Bhumi, right? Yet the people, the devotees at Baku, all exalted, are doing great. That's all. Hi, Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for sharing your wonderful realization. Anyone else would like to share their realization, or if everyone is okay, we can conclude today's session over here. Okay. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रील गुरुदेव की जय।